this is my reflection on last night's scout meeting, basically. Sorry. My hair is all over. Basically, what we did last night was we made the Korean sushi. What happens when we started? I'd had a discussion with one of my leaders that was supposed to be about health and safety at the beginning, so I started introducing. I mentioned this last night, I promise, so I might be a bit hazy. But honestly, I was so tired when I got home, I almost fell asleep on the train. So I think getting sleep was the main plan. I also planned to do it this morning, but didn't have time for that either. And I planned to do it during lunch, but didn't have time again. So this is how my life is going now. I am just working on getting all of my work done as fast, or not as fast, but as much as I can right now, because that way it means that the rest of the work doesn't have to go on through the rest of the week. Basically, what happened, we started the meeting, I talked them through it. Basically, this is what we're working on. This is what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to divide you all into teams, and that was the first big mistake, was that tell them we're going to divide them into teams. And then Duncan mentioned, but that's what Duncan did make them very aware of, is that, we don't care how much you guys hug on to each other. We have to divide you into teams. Like, we have to make this group a group and not three separate groups, which I'm really happy with, because I'm really proud of the fact that I've been working on trying to, as much as I would have hated as a kid, split up those groups. Actually, I wouldn't hate it as a kid, actually, because I was never the kid that was always in all the groups. But that way they actually develop relationships with each other, and it also means the explorers are a little bit more efficient, because they do get on a little bit further with each other. They do get a little bit... Sorry, TV over here making lots of picture. And then I got them started. I was explaining what's happening. The good thing was I didn't assign myself a job, but one of the big problems we ran into was that we asked about allergies, but we didn't ask about dietary preferences. And that was a problem, because one of the kids is pescatarian. I didn't know that. I apologised to the kid, and I made sure she had something else to eat. So that was a problem. That was a fire put out. Then when we were cooking, I made sure one of the leaders was helping one of the others, was having some of the others. One of them was in the kitchen. One of the leaders was supposed to be in the kitchen whenever any of the kids were cooking, and one of them was supposed to be... Oh, the tutor to one of you, the one that you had... Sorry. And then the next one is supposed to be in the room. Duncan had to go and help out with another meeting, which is fine, because we have 3 leaders, which means we were in surplus. Yes, and which meant we had too many leaders, and we couldn't... which means we had more than enough leaders, so we didn't need any extra, which was great. And I was able to explain to them what they were all doing. I did get some complaints, but basically I just told them, because they're a bit older, I told them to just sit down and get on with it, and it all worked out. As soon as I had a moment, I made sure that kid that was vegetarian, I made sure she got... Because one of the things is we have spam, which is like a canned meat, and I was like, damn. So then I stole one of the carrots from the carrot group, cut it up into batons, fried it off for a minute, in some hot oil, and then once it was done, I added the what's it called? I added the sauce the others had made. I made one problem I ran into is that I didn't realise that I didn't have enough mirin, so I had to go out and make an emergency run for mirin. And then also on my way there I realised, oh my god, I forgot the pickled radish, which I needed, so I had to leave that. So I had to go and buy a second pack of it, which I was ecstatic about. Moving on. Then once we'd done that, once we'd got the prep all went well, I think there was only one injury, and that was dealt with. I didn't actually see it at the time, but it was good because the leaders dealt with it. Whenever the kids were kind of screwing around a bit, I made sure I made sure that one of the other leaders dealt with it, because they don't listen to me, and it's not fair. I don't want to get involved in that. And then as we moved further on to the meeting, everything was going quite well. I didn't run into any major problems with any of them. When I was doing the explanation, they were all really attentive and listening, especially because it looked like I was about to screw it up for a minute. And one of the things that I realised was I actually didn't plan the second half of the meeting very well, which is after the prep. I didn't imagine, okay, so this is how we're going to set it out, this is how they're going to get all their stuff. I was actually able to get the, Wouter, who's very good at getting the kids to do what he needs, to get everything sorted, and sometimes the kids were doing something and they were like, oh, let me just do this on the table, and I was like, no, you're not doing it on the table. And then, I was going through that, and I once after I showed it to them, Wouter and I dished out these big trays full of all the ingredients we'd split up, and made sure they got that. And also we had quite a lot of questions where I think that we need to spend a bit of time teaching a little bit of common sense. Because they wasn't very like sometimes we'd ask, okay, where are the knives? And they weren't clearly anywhere, so they would be in the kitchen. Or where are the cutting boards? Again, not clearly anywhere, look in the kitchen. And then we'd ask this about 4 or 5 times. And, to be fair, we could have told them, go in the kitchen and get them, but I think we did actually tell them. After the meeting, we had a quick rundown. Most of it was, start from the back, tell them, okay, we're making this today, it's this. This is how we're going to start it, so that way they kind of have an end goal in their head and they know what's going on, which is very helpful to them. So overall the meeting went really well. I got some compliments. People were like, oh, this was an amazing meeting, thank you. And at the end we basically said, okay, I think this was really well planned, but you need to make sure you have a little bit more planning on the end of it, because I didn't realise, oh my god, I need plates and this and that at the moment. All the stuff was well done, and at the end I was asked for some recipes by some of the kids, so I made sure they got those. And we also talked about planning the next meeting, which I'm going to start writing up and then do a reflection about it. So thank you.